Lo now, 4 other acts upon the stage, childhood and youth, the manly and old age. The first, son unto phlegm, grandchild to water, unstable, supple, moist, and cold's his nature. The second, frolic, claims his pedigree, from blood and air, for hot and moist is he. The third, of fire and choler, is composed, vindicative, and quarrelsome disposed. The last, of earth and heavy melancholy, solid, hating all lightness and all folly. Childhood was clothed in white, and given to show, his spring was intermixed with some snow. Upon his head a garland nature set, of daisy, primrose, and the violet. Such cold mean flowers as these blossom betime, before the sun hath throughly warmed the clime. His hobby striding did not ride, but run, and in his hand an hourglass new begun, endangers every moment of a fall, and when 'tis broke, then ends his life and all. But if he held till it have run its last, then may he live till 60 years or past. Next youth came up in gorgeous attire, as that fond age doth most of all desire, his suit of crimson, and his scarf of green. In's countenance, his pride quickly was seen. His hobby striding did not ride, but run, seemed to grow on's head, bedewed with showers. His face as fresh as is Aurora fair, when blushing first she gins to red the air. No wooden horse, but one of metal tried, he seems to fly or swim and not to ride. Then prancing on the stage, about he wheels, but as he went death waited at his heels. The next came up in a more graver sort, as one that cared for a good report. His sword by his side, and collar in his eyes, but neither used as yet, for he was wise. Of autumn fruits a basket on his arm, his goldenrod in's purse, which was his charm. And last of all, to act upon this stage, leaning upon his staff, comes up old age. Under his arm a sheaf of wheat he bore, a harvest of the best, what needs he more? In's other hand a glass, even almost run, this writ about, this out, then I'm done. His hoary hairs and grave aspect made way, and all gave ear to what he had to say. These being met, each in his equipage, intend to speak according to their age, but wise old age did with all gravity to childish childhood give precedency, and to the rest his reason mildly told, that he was young before he grew so old. To do as he, the rest, full soon assents. Their method was that of the elements, that each should tell what of himself he knew, both good and bad, but yet no more than's true. With heed now stood 3 ages of frail man, to hear the child who crying thus began. Childhood. Ah me, conceived in sin and born in sorrow, a nothing here today but gone tomorrow, whose mean beginning blushing can't reveal. But night and darkness must with shame conceal. My mother's breeding sickness I will spare, her 9 months' weary burden not declare. To show her bearing pangs I should do wrong, to tell that pain which can't be told by tongue. With tears into this world I did arrive, my mother still did waste as I did thrive, who yet with love and all elasticity, spending was willing to be spent for me. With wayward cries I did disturb her rest, who sought still to appease me with her breast. With weary arms she danced, and by sung, when wretched I ungreat had done the wrong. When infancy was past, my childishness did act all folly that it could express. My silliness did only take delight in that which riper age did scorn and slight. In rattles, babbles, and such boyish stuff, my then ambitious thoughts were low enough. My high-born soul so straitly was confined, that its own worth it did not know nor mind. This little house of flesh did spacious count, through ignorance all troubles did surmount. Yet this advantage had mine ignorance, freedom from envy and from arrogance. How to be rich or great I did not cark. A baron or a duke ne'er made my mark, nor studious was king's favours how to buy, with costly presents or base flattery. No office coveted wherein I might make strong myself and turn aside weak right. No malice bear to this or that great peer, nor unto buzzing whisperers gave ear. I gave no hand nor vote for death of life, I'd naught to do nor twixt prince and people's strife. No statist I, nor marty listed the field. Where'er I went, mine innocence was shield. My quarrels not for diadems did rise, but for an apple, plum, or some such prize. My strokes did cause no death, nor wounds, nor scars. My little wrath did cease soon as my wars. My duel was no challenge, nor did seek my foe should weltering with his bowels reek. I had no suits at law, neighbours to vex, nor evidence for land did me perplex. I feared no storms, nor all the winds that blows. I had no ships at sea, no fraughts to loose. I feared no drought nor wet, I had no crop, nor yet on future things did place my hope. This was mine innocence, but oh, the seeds lay raked up of all the cursed weeds, which sprouted forth in my ensuing age, as he can tell that next comes on the stage. But yet let me relate, before I go, the sins and dangers I am subject to. From birth stained with Adam's sinful fact, from thence I 'gan to sin as soon as act. A perverse will, a love to what's forbid, a serpent's sting in pleasing face lay hid, a lying tongue as soon as it could speak, and fifth commandment do daily break, oft stubborn, peevish, sullen, pout and cry. Then naught can please, and yet I know not why. As many was my sins, so dangers too, for sin brings sorrow, sickness, death and woe. And though I miss the tossings of the mind, yet griefs in my frail flesh I still do find. What gripes of wind mine infancy did pain, what tortures I in breeding teeth sustain, what crudities my cold stomach hath bred, whence vomits, worms, and flux have issued, what breaches, knocks, and falls I daily have, and some perhaps I carry to my grave, sometimes in fire, sometimes in waterfall, strangely preserved, yet mind it not at all. At home, abroad, my dangers manifold, that wonder 'tis my glass till now doth hold. I've done unto my elders I give way, for 'tis but little that a child can say. Youth, my goodly clothing and beauteous skin declare some greater riches are within. But what is best I'll first present to view, and then the worst in a more ugly hue. For thus to do we on this stage assemble, then let not him which hath most craft dissemble. Mine education and my learning such, as might myself and others profit much. With nurture trained up in virtue's schools, of science, arts, and tongues, I know the rules. The manners of the court I likewise know, nor ignorant what they in country do. The brave attempts of valiant knights I prize, that dare climb battlements reared to the skies. The snorting horse, the trumpet, drum I like, the glistening sword, and well-advanced pike. I cannot lie in trench before a town, nor wait till good advice our hopes do crown. I scorn the heavy corslet musket-proof, I fly to catch the bullet that's aloof. Though thus in field at home, to all most kind, so affable that I do suit each mind, I can insinuate into the breast, and by my mirth can raise the heart depressed. Sweet music rapteth my harmonious soul, and elevates my thoughts above the pole. My wit, my bounty, and my courtesy makes all to place their future hopes on me. This is my best, but youth is known, alas, to be as wild as is the snuffing ass, as vain as froth, as vanity can be, that who would see vain man may look on me. My gifts abused, my education lost, my woeful parents' longing hopes all crossed. My wit evaporates in merriment, my valour in some beastly quarrel spent. Martial deeds I love not because they're virtuous, but doing so might seem magnanimous. My lust doth hurry me to all that's ill. I know no law nor reason but my will. Sometimes lay wait to take a wealthy purse, or stab the man in's own defence, that's worse. Sometimes I cheat, unkind, a female heir, of all at once who not so wise as fair trusteth my loving looks and glozing tongue, until her friends, treasure and honours gone. Sometimes I sit carousing others' health, until mine own be gone, my wit and wealth. From pipe to pot, from pot to words and blows, for he that loveth wine wanteth no woes. Days, nights with ruffins, roarers, fiddlers spend. To all obscenity my ears I bend, all counsel hate which tends to make me wise, and dearest friends count for mine enemies. If any care I take, it is to be fine, for sure my suit more than my virtues shine. If any time from company I spare, 'tis spent in curling, frizzling up my hair. Some young Adonis I do strive to be, Sardana Pallas now survives in me. Cards, dice, and oaths concomitant I love. To masques, to plays, to taverns still I move, and in a word, if what I am you'd hear, seek out a brutish cavalier. Such wretch, such monster am I, but yet more. I want a heart all this for to deplore. Thus, alas, I have mispent my time, my youth, my best, my strength, my bud and prime, remembering not the dreadful day of doom, nor yet the heavy reckoning for to come, though dangers do attend me every hour, and ghastly death oft threats me with her power. Sometimes by wounds in idle combats taken, sometimes by agues all my body shaken, sometimes by fevers all my moisture drinking, my heart lies frying and my eyes are sinking. Sometimes the cough, stitch, painful pleurisy, with sad affrights of death do menace me. Sometimes the loathsome pox my face bemars, with ugly marks of his eternal scars. Sometimes the frenzy strangely mads my brain, that oft for it in bedlam I remain. Too many's my diseases to recite, that wonder 'tis I yet behold the light, that yet my bed in darkness is not made, and I in black oblivion's den long laid. Of marrow full my bones, of milk my breasts, ceased by the gripes of Sergeant Death's arrests. Thus I have said, and what I've said you see, childhood and youth is vain, yea, vanity. Middle age. Childhood and youth forgot sometimes I've seen, and now am grown more staid that have been green. What they have done, the same was done by me. As was their praise or shame, so mine must be. Now age is more good ye do expect, but more my age, the more is my defect. But what's of worth your eyes shall first behold, and then a world of dross among my gold. When my wild oats were sown, and ripe and mown, I then received a harvest of mine own. My reason then bade judge how little hope such empty seed should yield a better crop. I then with both hands grasped the world together, thus out of one extreme into another, but yet laid hold on virtue seemingly. Who climbs without hold climbs dangerously. Be my condition mean, I then take pains, my family to keep, but not for gains. If rich, I am urged then to gather more, to bear me out in the world and feed the poor. If a father, then for children must provide, but if none, then for kindred near allied. If noble, then mine honour to maintain. If not, yet wealth, nobility can gain. For time, for place, likewise for each relation, I wanted not my ready allegation. Yet all my powers for self-ends are not spent, for hundreds bless me for my bounty sent, whose loins I've clothed and bellies I have fed, with mine own fleece and with my household bread. Yea, justice I have done, was I in place, to cheer the good and wicked to deface. The proud I crushed, the oppressed I set free, the liars curbed but nourished verity. Was I a pastor, I my flock did feed, and gently lead the lambs as they had need. A captain awry with skill I trained my band, and showed them how in face of foes to stand. If a soldier with speed I did obey, as readily as could my leader say. Was I a labourer I wrought all day, as cheerfully as ere I took my pay. Thus hath mine age, in all, sometimes done well. Sometimes mine age in all been worse than hell. In meanness, greatness, riches, poverty, did toil, did broil, oppressed, did steal and lie. Was I as poor as poverty could be, then baseness was companion unto me. Such scum as hedges and highways do yield, as neither sow nor reap nor plant nor build. If to agriculture I was ordained, great labours, sorrows, crosses I sustained. The early cock did summon, but in vain, my wakeful thoughts up to my painful gain. For restless day and night I'm robbed of sleep, by cankered care whose sentinel doth keep. My weary breast, rest from his toil confined. But if I rest, the more distressed my mind. If happiness my sordidness hath found, 'twas in the crop of my manured ground, my fatted ox and my exuberous cow, my fleeced ewe and ever farrowing sow. To greater things I never did aspire, my dunghill thoughts or hopes could reach no higher. If to be rich or great, it was my fate. How was I broiled with envy and with hate? Greater than was the greatest was my desire, and greater still did set my heart on fire. If honour was the point to which I steered, to run my hull upon disgrace I feared. But by ambitious sails I was so carried, that over flats and sands and rocks I hurried, oppressed and sunk and sacked, all in my way. That did oppose me to my longed bay. My thirst was higher than nobility, and oft longed sore to taste on royalty, whence poisoned pistols and dread instruments have been cursed furtherers of mine intents. Nor brothers, nephews, sons, nor sires I've sparred, when to a monarchy my way they barred. Their set I rid myself straight out of hand, of such as might my son or his withstand, then heaped up gold and riches as the clay, which others scatter like the dew in May. Sometimes vain glory is the only bait, whereby my empty school is lured and caught. Be I of worth of learning or of parts, I judge I should have room in all men's hearts, and envy gnaws, if any do surmount. I hate for to be had in small account, if bias like I'm stripped unto my skin. I glory in my wealth I have within, thus good and bad, and what I am you see. Now in a word what my diseases be, the vexing stone in bladder and in reins torments me with intolerable pains. The windy colic oft my bowels rend, to break the darksome prison where it's penned. The knotty gout doth sadly torture me, and the restraining lame sciatica. The quinsy and the fevers often distaste me, and the consumption to the bones doth waste me. Subject to all diseases, that's the truth, though some more incident to age or youth. And to conclude, I may not tedious be, man at his best estate is vanity. Old age. What you have been, even such have I before, and all you say, say I, and something more. Babe's innocence, youth's wildness I have seen, and in perplexed middle age have been. Sickness, dangers, and anxieties have passed, and on this stage am come to act my last. I have been young and strong and wise as you, but now bis pueri senes is too true. In every age I've found much vanity, an end of all perfection now I see. It's not my valour, honour, nor my gold, my ruined house now falling can uphold. It's not my learning, rhetoric, wit so large, now hath the power death's warfare to discharge. It's not my goodly house nor bed of down that can refresh or ease if conscience frown, nor from alliance now can I have hope, but what I have done well, that is my property. He that in youth is godly, wise, and sage, provides a staff for to support his age. Great mutations, some joyful and some sad, in this short pilgrimage I oft have had. Sometimes the heavens with plenty smiled on me, sometimes again reigned all adversity, sometimes in honour, sometimes in disgrace, sometime an abject, then again in place. Such private changes oft mine eyes have seen. In various times of state I've also been. I've seen a kingdom flourish like a tree, when it was ruled by that celestial she, and like a cedar others so surmount, that but for shrubs they did themselves account. Then saw I France, and Holland salved, Calais won, and Philip and Albertus half undone. I saw all peace at home, terror to foes, but I saw at last those eyes to close, and then methought the world at noon grew dark, when it had lost that radiant sun-like spark. In midst of griefs I saw some hopes revive, for 'twas our hopes then kept our hearts alive. I saw hopes dashed, our forwardness was shent, and silenced we by Act of Parliament. I've seen from Rome an execrable thing, a plot to blow up nobles and their king. I've seen designs at Ree and Cades crossed, and poor Palatinate for every lost. I've seen a prince to live on others' lands, a royal one by arms from subjects' hands. I've seen base men advance to great degree, and worthy ones put to extremity, but not their prince's love, nor state so high, could once reverse their shameful destiny. I've seen one stabbed, another lose his head, and others fly their country through their dread. I've seen, and so have ye, for 'tis but late, the desolation of a goodly state, plotted and acted so that none can tell. Who gave the counsel but the Prince of Hell? I've seen a land unmoulded with great pain, but yet may live to see it made up again. I've seen it shaken, rent, and soaked in blood, but out of troubles ye may see much good. These are no old wives' tales, but this is truth. We old men love to tell what's done in youth. But I return from whence I stepped awry. My memory is short and brain is dry. My almond tree grey hairs doth flourish now, and back, once straight, begins apace to bow. My grinders now are few, my sight doth fail, my skin is wrinkled and my cheeks are pale. No more rejoice at music's pleasant noise, but do awake at the cock's clanging voice. I cannot scent savours of pleasant meat, nor sapours find in what I drink or eat. My hands and arms, once strong, have lost their might. I cannot labour, nor I cannot fight. My comely legs, as nimble as the roe, now stiff and numb, can hardly creep or go. My heart, sometimes as fierce as lion bold, now trembling and fearful, sad and cold. My golden bowl and silver cord, ere long, shall both be broke by racking death so strong. I then shall go whence I shall come no more. Sons, nephews, leave my death for to deplore. In pleasures and in labours I have found that earth can give no consolation sound. To great, to rich, to poor, to young or old, to mean, to noble, fearful, or to bold, from king to beggar all degrees shall find, but vanity, vexation of the mind. Yea, knowing much, the pleasantest life of all, hath yet amongst that sweet some bitter gall. Though reading others' works doth much refresh, yet studying much brings weariness to the flesh. My studies, labours, readings, all are done, and my last period can e'en almost run. Corruption, my father, I do call mother and sisters both, the worms that crawl. In my dark house such kindred I have store, there I shall rest till heavens shall be no more. And when this flesh shall rot and be consumed, this body by this soul shall be assumed, and I shall see with these same very eyes my strong Redeemer coming in the skies. Triumph I shall o'er sin or death or hell, and in that hope I bid you all farewell.